What's up, Taiwan? I'm Reece Ayers with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. A top security official is describing recent Chinese military drills around Taiwan as the most threatening yet, revealing more about Monday's exercises and what China's intentions were. Our reporter Rick Glauert has been following developments. Rick, what more do we know about these drills?
So that security official outlining how these drills put more pressure on Taiwan's military to react quickly. He revealed how China fired 2 missiles, so that's some rare live fire drills close to Taiwan. And he said that 25 Chinese Coast Guard and Navy ships came close to Taiwan's contiguous zone. That's 24 kilometers off Taiwan. Why is China doing this drill? Well, he also had some insight on that. The security official said that in these drills, with these exercises, China is practicing how to turn exercises like this into full-out attack. China this week on Wednesday also doubling down on its rhetoric, saying that it will never recount using force to take Taiwan. And this all comes as Taiwan offers olive branches to Beijing. President Lai Ching-te using his National Day speech to say that there are areas where the two countries can cooperate. He flagged epidemic responses and climate change. And a government agency this week has also been flagging areas where there could be more dialogue, more areas of exchange, and has plans to send 2 native Taiwan deers to China as a peace offering. So despite Chinese aggression, why would Taiwan be so interested in pursuing dialogue across the strait? Well, I spoke to Jia Yin-jong of the University of Singapore to find out more.
So I think for Taiwan, they're willing to try to move ahead on the relationship across the straits. They want to show goodwill. They are also trying to avoid and actually demonstrate that they are not the troublemaker. They are not the intransigent party that Beijing is trying to paint them as.
Beijing has been very persistent in labeling Lai as a troublemaker. They've been labeling him as a dangerous separatist for his words on Taiwan and its sovereignty. But since National Day, we've been hearing how careful Lai has been in choosing his words, choosing words that are unlikely to provoke Beijing. So now he's showing that his admin will continue to push for dialogue across the strait, even as more details of Chinese aggression emerge.
Thanks, Rick. That was Rick Glauert reporting live from the newsroom. Residents from the rural southern Taiwan town of Dapu are in Taipei to protest a solar project in their neighborhood that they say will ruin their community. Tiffany Wong reports.
Dozens of residents from the rural town of Dapu in Jiayi County are protesting the construction of a solar farm near their homes. The site is expected to be the size of 60 basketball courts and is planned to be next to a school and a community center. And they fear it could drive up water fees and cause a heat island effect that will impact their local ecosystems, bringing more costs than benefits to their own livelihoods.
光电滚出大埔！光电滚出大埔！光电滚出大埔！光电滚出大埔！啊，要来加哀求讲吼，袂使搁做落去吼，阮遐人真啊足艰苦的，啊，我像阮咧阴暗时拢足惊吓啦，啊，拢袂困袂食啦。
They also have the support of the opposition Kuomintang, which opposes the ruling Democratic Progressive Party's ongoing energy transition plans, which has caused protests in other parts of the country as well.
自从民进党他们打出所谓的非核家园这个旗子之后，你就发现为了补所谓的能源缺口，开始遍地的想要来去盖所谓的光电厂。我先跟大家讲，我们并不反对盖光电。 但是你不能让光电乱盖啊！你不能让光电去蚕食我们的农田，蚕食我们的山林，以及蚕食我们居民安居乐业的地方。
With Taiwan's land and resources limited, debates on the energy transition are likely to continue as people feel that their interests are being left behind. John Su and Tiffany Wong in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
For those solar projects that have already been built, farmers have had to adjust their livelihoods to keep pace. But as John Van Trieste reports, some of them are hitting roadblocks.
It may seem like an unlikely place for a power station, but solar panels like these have been sprouting up across fish and clam farms in Taiwan's south and center. Here in Changhua County's Fangyuan Township, clam farmers on hard times are eager to sign up. Climate change, disease, and shrinking groundwater supplies have seen production drop. These farmers are aiming to turn over as much as 40% of their land to solar panels, with the hope that the rent money the power company provides will help their businesses survive. But the county government has reservations. Though the Energy Administration in Taipei gave permission for a trial covering 20% of the land and 2 panel makers got on board, local regulators have blocked the project since 2022. Because while the project may look green, there are questions about whether it could actually harm the environment. Some environmentalists worry that it could affect the bird habitats provided by the open land, and that the panels themselves might leak toxic materials into the water.
我们应该先优先来考量，这样盖下去之后，目前的市辖区盖下去之后，对原本的承租户有什么样的影响？对周边环境有什么影响？对生态有什么样的影响？有没有可解决的方式？
Local officials say for the project to go ahead, clam farmers will need to further explain how they'll deal with the question of potential toxins from the panels getting into the water.
渔电共生还是以渔为主嘛，那电的话为辅这个部分，那会不会有整个是不是有相对的影响？ 跟水的清洗的污水处理这个部分都有不同的意见。
It's issues like this Taiwan faces as it tries to wean itself off both nuclear power and fossil fuels, one of the government's big missions for the coming years. Hank Xu and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
North Korea says it's revised its constitution to call South Korea a hostile state and its primary enemy. The revision also removes the goal of pursuing a peaceful reunification with the South. It's the latest in a series of incidents increasing tensions on the Korean peninsula. The United States, Japan and South Korea have, meanwhile, established a joint committee to monitor the North and curb Pyongyang's nuclear weapons program.
The goal of the new mechanism is to assist the full implementation of UN sanctions on the DPRK by publishing information based on rigorous inquiry into sanctions violations and evasion attempts.
A South Korean official says the multinational team will involve 8 other countries, including the UK, France and Germany. A leading K-pop star has told South Korea's parliament that it's time to address bullying in the music industry. John Van Trieste has this story.
한희 씨 여기서 팬분들께 꼭 한마디만 좀 부탁드릴게요. 제가 말 안 해도 팬분들이 제 마음 잘 아시니까 굳이 말할 필요 없습니다.
Hanni is one of the biggest stars in the multi-billion-dollar K-pop industry, but climbing the charts in this cutthroat world takes its toll. Artists are expected to maintain a flawless public image and deal with intensely demanding bosses. Today, she's addressing South Korea's parliament to call for change, especially when it comes to bullying within the industry. She says her group, NewJeans, has had it especially rough, victims of an ugly record label dispute. There have been accusations of sabotage, and Hanni says on at least one occasion, an executive has told staff to ignore her and her bandmates. Hanni says she's speaking out because she wants the industry to change.
이 세상의 모든 문제들을 해결해 줄 수 있는 법은 아니라는 걸 알지만 그래도 빈섬을 인간으로서 존경하면 적어도 직장 내 괴롭힘과 따돌림 문제는 없지 않을까 싶고요.
The head of NewJeans' record label told lawmakers it had not found evidence to back up Hanni's accusations and that it is reviewing the situation.
한희 씨를 비롯해서 아티스트 분들 저희 더 목소리에 귀 기울이고 아티스트 분들의 인권까지 잘 보호해서 아티스트 분들이 가지고 계시는 그 꿈과 희망을 잘 펼칠 수 있도록 더 세심하게 잘 살피겠습니다.
It's highly unusual for industry insiders, the stars or their managers, to so openly discuss long-running accusations of high pressure and bullying, pressure that has led to the suicide of performers on multiple occasions. But stars like Hanni hope their public testimony will shine more light on the darkness in the K-pop behemoth. Kama Xu and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Hong Kong's chief executive has laid out an ambitious plan to bolster the economy and combat a rising housing crisis as the city looks for fresh growth opportunities. But as Rosie Grenadier explains, the plan has drawn mixed reaction.
In his third policy address to lawmakers, Hong Kong's chief executive John Lee delivered an economic-centred blueprint focused on reviving the city, which has seen hampered growth since the COVID-19 pandemic. Lee unveiled reforms to support small businesses, postpone loan repayments and bring in more foreign investment.
You have to change, you have to reform, find new ways to make a difference for you to be able to win. And I think that has been the DNA of the Hong Kong people. And I make it no secret that we all have to work hard. That is why I say reform together and build our economy together.
The reforms also include plans to attract international tourism and encourage more people from mainland China, ASEAN countries and the Middle East to move to Hong Kong for education, as well as cutting transaction costs, including drastically scaling back duties on liquor. Plans business leaders say will help boost the city's competitiveness. Lee also announced plans to address Hong Kong's high housing prices, which are among the most expensive in the world. They aim to ease mortgage lending restrictions and improve living conditions for the nearly 110,000 households who live in the city's notorious subdivided flats.
政府建議簡泊房嘅標準，包括必須有窗、有獨立廚廁、有獨立廁所，面積不少於8平方米等。
But some tenants are worried the policy will lead to forced evictions and increased rent.
嗰個劏房啊，絕對係有幫助嘅，但係我覺得真係一定要安置我哋先。嗱，我嗰度廚廁合一肯定就唔合格㗎啦。咁你點樣安置到我哋啊？或者嘅係改造咗幫助我哋政府俾多少補貼，幫助我哋去租個另外一間呢？因為租金你而家咁100分。
Lee said it would take years to figure that out. Others raised separate issues with the leader's address. Outside the event, 5 activists from the city's last remaining opposition party staged a petition calling on the government to protect constitutional rights after Beijing clamped down on the city with sweeping national security laws in 2020.
The government should uphold the principle of the freedom of press, the power to the people, and also the freedom of speech, freedom of gathering and demonstration.
The group saying if the government does not listen to the residents of Hong Kong, policies will not succeed. But that call has gone unheard, with the focus of this policy address aligning with Beijing's push to transform Hong Kong's economy and reignite growth. Delphine Chen and Rosie Grenadier for TaiwanPlus.
US Vice President Kamala Harris has distanced herself from President Joe Biden as she carves out her campaign for the presidency.
My presidency will not be a continuation of Joe Biden's presidency. And like every new president that comes into office, I will bring my life experiences, my professional experiences, and fresh and new ideas. I represent a new generation of leadership.
Harris was speaking in her first interview with Fox News, a conservative network known for its support of Republican presidential pick Donald Trump. With less than 3 weeks until the US election, the interview also covered key political issues such as immigration and transgender rights. A Taiwanese runner has broken the world record for his age group in the world's longest road race held in New York. Running in flip-flops the whole way, Ming finished the 3,100-mile-long race in just over 45 days. That's about 2 marathons a day. He came in 3rd overall and broke the world record for runners over 60. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, today we leave you with images from the Grand Egyptian Museum, which has just opened some of its collections for a trial run. I'm Reece. Take care and see you next time.